Well, hello, welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen.
I'm Michael Mandel, and we're surprised to be here, as you may be. So Seinfeld is going out with Peyton Oswalt, and they have a DeLorean from like 1988 or something. It breaks down like 20 minutes after they start driving.
That figures.
Yeah, so they stand around, and most of the routine is while the guy is trying to fix the car, but they finally have to tow it.
Well, yeah.
That's part of the story from, if you were here, you know, when we warmed up the audience, that was the story.
Well, everybody assumes that, everybody on TV knows everybody, and they do.
We do. Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to the show. Next week, you're not going to be here, Michael.
Is that an order?
You're going to...
I'm going to
San Antonio.
Yes, the San Antonio Cocktail Festival.
So make sure you eat at the Owl Cafe. The Owl Bar, you're going to eat there, right?
There's actually I think it's Bohannon, which was the first bar opened after Prohibition ended. Technically, I mean, not on purpose, it just opened, first one that opened when Prohibition ended. So it must have been going in the first place, full speed. They make great vintage cocktails there. And even though we have the Vesper and the Negroni listed as one of the last things, one of the big things, and I'm also looking forward to this, speaking of events coming up, put this on your calendar. June, there's going to be a Negroni week.
Negroni, what is Negroni?
A Negroni is a wonderful drink that started out, it was called the Americano in Italy. It was made with Campari, which is a bitter version of vermouth, and the sweet version of vermouth, and a little soda water. There's a guy named Count Negroni, and he said, I want something with a little bit more kick. So they put gin into it, and so you have gin, Campari, Negroni in equal amounts, although I've recently done experimentation, and it's really good when you lessen the red liquors and add more gin. So
makes sense to me.
It's great too.
So you're going to, which San Antonio are you going to? New Mexico or Texas?
San Antonio, up by in Texas, yes.
Oh,
in Texas.
Okay. Forget the Owl Bar, because you never find it.
I don't know why you would think there would be a cocktail convention up there by Socorro. Why would that be? Why would that be? Who would ever think of that? I don't know.
I'd go to it.
But since we have worked all year, what was that? 2013?
Yeah.
Don't we get that break? Doesn't this job come with a vacation?
You would think,
You've
but it
worked
doesn't.
the whole year?
No.
So I'm taking that vacation.
No vacation.
This next weekend.
But
okay. I will have a guard dog at my house.
So you'll be gone next week. Teddy Aspin will be filling in your chair. The first half of the show. The second half of the show, I'll be interviewing a special guest, Leslie
or other?
Leslie
I have
Ann
no
Singh.
idea.
Although, why don't you stop talking and I'll say her name.
Well, if you said her name, I wouldn't have
Leslie
to interrupt you.
Ann Singh, who's running for United States Congress in New Mexico's District 2, which is here. Southern New Mexico is District 2.
She's the one from
She's from Alamogordo. So she'll be a guest on my show next Saturday. So you all tune in for that. This is the beginning of the political season.
Oh, yes. Are you versed with all the political events that you're going to be forced to talk about?
I will be, and we'll be having a number of, throughout the year, we'll be having a number of candidates on the show.
Should be exciting.
As they come through town.
It should be. Well, obviously, Steve Pierce will want to come on the show because Leslie is going to be running against him, as is Rocky Lara from Carlsbad.
From Carlsbad, yes. So Leslie's not running unopposed. She has somebody against her for the primary election, a Democrat. And then the winner of that, of course, will run against Steve Pierce in the general election in November.
So you can't vote for any of those primaries because I know your political situation.
And so anyway, be sure to join us next week.
Ends.
We've got that out of the way now.
Join us this week too.
Last week we talked about this. We were talking about legalizing pot.
I remember.
The way Colorado has done. There's those in New Mexico who think we should do so as well. Some people want to put it to a vote. Let the people vote on it the way they did in California. Now, in California, they voted against it. In New Mexico...
Possibly not for long, yes.
Well, they're saying that the Republicans wouldn't want it put to a vote because they're afraid that it
will be voted in.
It'd be, not only that.
Oh, you're talking about here now. You're not talking about
it wouldn't be a special
California.
Election. It would be on the...
Tack it on to
whenever the next election would be.
Election,
probably 2014.
Right.
Well,
yes, 2014 when we're voting for either Rocky Lara or whoever is running.
And they're afraid that it might bring in too many liberals to the polls who would then vote liberal in the election. Is that called democracy?
Yeah, that is. Bringing more people to the polls is democracy. But you have to pick and choose who you want to vote. What they're saying is they don't want no potheads out there voting for things. That's what they're saying. Is that what they're saying? Because if one of the big votes is pot, I give you pot.
Just because you vote for it doesn't mean you're going to smoke it. You could just be in favor of
That's
it being
true.
decriminalized.
Many Republicans or many libertarians are former Republicans who don't want to be associated with the Republican Party or any party, and they call themselves libertarians. They believe in free choice.
Right. Now,
which would be the ability to smoke.
But you would think Republicans don't want the government in their business, so they should be in favor of making pot legal so that the government is out of the business of regulating and penalizing and arresting people for having it.
But then you're just encouraging a bunch of kids to keep smoking and never get nothing done.
Well, then I guess
they just sit on their fanny packs.
Then I guess kids aren't allowed to get it. It's only you have to be an adult.
Yeah, but kids, you can still be a kid at 21.
Yes.
And smoking pot starting early, you pretty much
You can be
remain a kid
50s.
for the rest of your life.
Well,
Yes.
then they should just make alcohol illegal too. Then.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
No more Negronis.
What are you talking about? Drinking is one of the more sophisticated privileges of cultured society.
Oh, but so could pot smoking.
So could it be if you started to talk about the particular mixes of
yes.
weed.
You got your Michoacan. You've got your.
Well, now there's many
Acapulco
different
Golds.
breeds because people have interbred them on their own little solar houses. Not that I know anybody who's done that, but because pretty much all I do is mix cocktails.
That's true.
I don't do that because there's no fun. I like the pouring
Right.
stuff.
You mix them and I'll drink them.
That's a deal.
Okay. Now.
Where did that end? What are we going to do about pot? So we think that because what was that about?
Thanks.
What's that about?
Hi guys, that's the gang over at Max Designs.
Are you how did you
VIP.
segue from pot to a bunch of innocent?
Well, that should have been the first photograph.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened to, but that's the gang up at Max Designs for VIPs. That's where I get my hair done for the show, and that's Ramon there in the center, and
some other people,
Liz
and
Richard
some guy
and
that doesn't work
Christine.
there anymore.
Yeah, so those are the
But
guys.
that's us.
So if you want a good haircut, a good hairstyle, they can do anything to your hair. Nails, shaving, you got it. They do it.
Mani-pedi.
Got to recommend them.
Mani-pedi.
Mani-pedis, you can get those there too. You can get a massage.
I always thought a mani-pedi was for men's feet.
Well,
Mani. I didn't know what that was.
Mani and lady petty.
So this hairstyle, you should see what he looks like without this particular hairstyle because really, whatever you think of it now, it's an improvement 1,000 times.
Well, they just cut my hair.
1,000.
They just cut my
1,000.
hair.
People walk up to him and go, "You look 1,000 times better than usual after your haircut."
And that's saying a lot.
It is.
So anyway, thanks guys at Max Designs. Now, they're
Where
located
are they located?
Located on Loman.
They were on the TV just a second ago. Loman near what?
I don't remember their address, but at the end of the show, watch the end credits, and I believe their address is
They're
there.
on the way to Go Burger if you're coming from the city, right? But
Well,
except they're on the left.
It's on Loman between Mesquite and Tornillo.
Oh.
Going north, it's between Tornillo and Mesquite in the two-story brown building. Now, the city.
That's important.
The city's been losing out on a lot of things. It lost out on the Gus Macker tournament,
Why did we lose that?
which we've had since 1995.
Yes. The Boys and Girls Club have sponsored it in the past, but they no longer possibly can afford to sponsor it because things have been cut recently, and I guess things keep getting shaved. And
It's 3-on-3 basketball for those of you who've never participated or watched it. It's 3-on-3 basketball. 500 teams competed last year. And it was blowing. It was during the windy season. They were outside trying to play basketball. 50-mile-an-hour wind all weekend long. I felt terrible for those people. But it brings in $100,000 to the city every year.
So it's a benefit to the city.
So-
the city could
Yeah.
sponsor it, perhaps. Does the city sponsor Boys and Girls Club?
No.
They must give money.
No, that's the United
That's a
Way
private-
and other
Oh.
charities sponsor them. Now,
They are looking for anybody to sponsor them. So if you have a bunch of money that's burning a hole in your pocket,
well, you need a bunch of money.
talk to them.
Yeah. Now, we also lost the Warped Tour this year. We've been having that. The Warped Tour. Sponsored by Vans, the people who make shoes.
And it's not Van's fault. Well, maybe it is. I mean, they didn't stop sponsoring
really
it. They
why.
just didn't want it here. They didn't want it because of that guy.
Oh, he's having a
He
good
just
time.
made a face to it. These guys are great. They used to be around the university. They're wild.
It came to the is at the university every summer in the scorching sun, 100-degree weather outside. It had been coming here for years. Now it's going to be going to Albuquerque instead.
She's going to be there.
And so
Albuquerque's like 10 degrees cooler than here.
Well,
you know what I bet they're doing? They think if we're going to go to the Southwest where it's hot, we should go during June, which is actually our hottest season.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say Albuquerque's 10 degrees cooler.
8.
Maybe 3. It gets very hot in Albuquerque, Michael. And anyway, Albuquerque, our loss is Albuquerque's gain. What's next to be lose? Are we going to lose next the mariachi conference? What?
Well, we're the ones who started the mariachi conference for ourselves, so the only way we can stop it is the diocese not funding it or not pushing it through.
Well,
that's the only way they could do it.
We can lose
we're big. We could. But, when things come, other things go. It's a thing. We'll get something else, maybe.
Well, one
Convention Visitors Bureau should be taking care of stuff like that, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
and
people here.
Well, we'll be talking about things that are going on at the convention center later in the show.
What are we talking about? Oh, Warped. Okay.
And
I can't see the chart.
Anyway, I hope we don't lose any other yearly conventions because we need to be attracting more, not losing the ones we've got.
That's true. Where do we get all those people coming in?
We have a nice big convention center that hardly gets used at all. We need to get some big conventions coming in there.
Well, neither the Warped Tour nor the Gus Macker takes care of conventions. But the real reason the convention center is here is to get people to fill the surrounding hotels, motels, and restaurants. Because you're here for a certain convention.
Yes.
These are the same things. You don't need to put it in a convention center to get business into the city. In fact, Gus Macker, I don't know if the Warped Tour really gets people staying over here.
They have to stay overnight, the ones that come in from out of town.
Well, a lot of kids from here just go there.
And
so we'll be sending our money up to Albuquerque when all the kids go up to Albuquerque to see the tour.
Yes. So one thing that's going to be saving the city lots of money, though, is the fact that the tort claims are in decline, finally, thankfully.
I don't buy torts. I usually buy like quiche or something.
You know what a tort is?
No, what is a tort?
Well, a tort is an intent to sue.
What?
And that's what happens when the city police department does something wrong, like they beat up a person when they shouldn't have.
I guess I don't have to stop eating them.
When they lie in court. Here's some of the things.
Lying in court? What? You have a list there of things you can be torted for?
Yes, recent tort claim notices have included an investigator who deliberately misled a grand jury in a case that forced it to be dropped. When an officer slandered a person so that a judge would increase bond on the person. That's lying in court.
That's slander.
A man was arrested wrongfully after recording a police shooting. He videotaped the police shooting somebody. They arrested him. Why is that? It's not illegal to record the police activities.
No, but you arrest somebody first and then sort it out afterwards. Shoot first, they say.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. Remember the guy they shot who came out with a weird sword?
Yeah.
He was crazy. And then there was another guy up on the East Mesa. Some of these people, maybe we're asking for it, but most people aren't. So the police...
it's people if you shoot somebody, they're dead. They can't sue you. But it's the people that they beat up, that they wrongfully incarcerate, that they lied to the judge about. Many cops are told to lie on the stand.
Well, so I understand California, other places have this problem even more often than we do. So you're saying that rather than just wound you the next time I try to shoot you, I should kill you, that way you can't sue me. I'm scot-free. That'd be great.
If someone breaks into your house and you have to shoot them, make sure you kill them, otherwise they will sue you.
Or come after you.
Now, last year, in 2013, there were only 19 tort claims filed. In 2008, there were 29. So we've got 10 less last year than before, so that's good.
So the philosopher Machiavelli said this about if you have to kill somebody, you should kill their entire family. That way there's no bad blood between your family and theirs.
Well, that's true.
So think about that next time you have to kill somebody.
Well, also, if you have to kill somebody, just make sure you kill somebody who needs killing.
That's true, if they put in a request.
Yeah.
They've asked for it. That's a request.
Right.
But make sure they've signed that request and perhaps notarized it.
Now, tort claims are down, but poverty in Doña Ana County is not down, unfortunately.
How are we doing on time?
Allegedly. Now,
Oh,
these girls look like they're starving, but they're just models.
which they're supposed to be starving. They get paid to starve.
They eat and then
But
throw up.
We're going to talk about, we'll take a break now, right? And talk about, because once we start talking about eating, you know it's not going to stop.
That's our favorite topic.
It's our topic. And not eating is even a bigger topic.
All right,
because
we'll
we
stop
know
talking
less about it.
Let's take this break, and we'll be right back after these words.
Welcome to La Buena Vida Women's Club, located away from the crowds but close to home. Come in throughout the day for Jazzercise, the world's dance fitness leader for nearly 40 years. Treat yourself to a relaxing massage, or unwind in the lounge area or outside on the balcony with friends. La Buena Vida Women's Club, located and designed with women in mind. For information, call Diane at 650-9721.
Hey, you, come here. Do you want to know the news? The Lost Cruises channel is now on 7 days a week, so keep it right here.
Celebrate, celebrate, Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate, Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
And we're back. Double Talk. Mike and Mark here. Now,
Yes.
we're talking about poverty in Doña Ana County. Now, the number is 17,000 children in Doña Ana County are food insecure.
Food insecure.
Food insecure. Doesn't mean they're starving, but it means
They don't know where their
they're
next
not
meal
sure
is
where the next
coming
meal is
from.
coming from, or if they don't get enough to eat. And
kinda
they've been
sad.
having to take advantage of the free lunch program at some schools.
Or their parents have food stamps. Or,
Well,
right?
the reason there's so many who are food insecure now is because the food banks are empty, because food stamps have been cut. Funding our people like Steve Pierce and others in Congress have voted to cut food stamps. So people who normally relied on food stamps now are going to the food banks for the free food, and the food banks are running out of food. But
Yes.
Steve Pierce won't cut subsidies to rich farmers, including 11 Republican congressmen who are farmers. They get their subsidies from the government. That's fine. But the poor people who really need it aren't getting it now.
Yeah, but they're not the movers and shakers. You know, you have to give money to the people who are making money. That's the rule in America. Didn't you know that?
Well, it's the American way, unfortunately, I think, in many
Yes.
ways.
If you go and make money, that means you deserve it, and you probably deserve it because you paid off the right people. That's why you deserve it.
Oh, I see.
Now, this little girl should be giving little money things to Steve Pierce on a regular basis.
Money things?
Yeah, little packets with money in them. They say, here, this is for you. You've seen the
Payoffs.
movies. Yeah, little payoffs.
Payola.
Little things like that. Here, do that and make sure I get my food stamps on time.
Well, if she could do that, she could afford to buy food.
There's the conflict. It's ironic. The people who can least afford it are screwed, and the people who can afford it get the benefits because, it's a circle. So they are working recently to break that circle of inequity. The new mayor of New York is, in fact, trying to work out the difference between the haves and the have-nots, and because the ones who have quite a lot. The ones who don't have, well, that speaks for
Right.
itself.
In fact, the wealth among the top 1% has risen, while the wealth on the bottom 70% has gone down.
And, the bottom is finite. The top keeps going. It's not finite. You can't stop. You can't have, I guess you can have negative wealth. Take a job and say you have to pay them. I don't know how to
I
get
have
lower
negative
than the
wealth.
bottom.
Well, negative wealth is
Oh, well, maybe
you
do.
owe more than
your,
you make.
Your net worth is negative?
Kind of like the government.
Yes, but the government has invented the worth of money. The money is just what it is relative to everybody else's view of it.
Right. So maybe we should just invent our own currency.
Well, the government only is sort of a pump that pumps the money through the people, and then the people have systems to divide it. So if the government puts out more, they have, 1.3 million people who just got knocked off unemployment, right?
Yeah.
So those 1.3 million won't be able to recycle the money if the government starts to give them
You
money.
mean unemployment insurance benefits?
Yes, what am I
Yes.
talking about?
You said unemployment. I thought you meant people who are now employed.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Well, although unemployment has gone down a little bit, but there's the chronically unemployed people. There may be a reason for that. So if you give them
Lack
money,
of jobs?
yeah, lack of the right jobs. There are no jobs that really pay anything other than minimum wage,
Not in
unless
Las
you're
Cruces.
going into computer stuff. You know where there's a lot of things coming out? If you've noticed, Hulu is now producing its own TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they took over The Bridge, which used to be on AMC or something like that.
Oh.
And it seems that with Hulu getting into it, who else?
Netflix.
And somebody else. There's a lot of more companies producing content, which means more people are writing and more people are acting, and that's where
more
business
jobs.
is.
Well, look at us.
Yes, we're writing. Well, if we wrote this, maybe we'd get paid. But since we just make it up
As we
and
go
have it
along.
transcribed afterwards, and then
We do?
I do the transcription.
Oh.
I send it out to foreign countries, and they translate it into the other languages. And then while we're talking, they could do the translation of our voices.
I see.
You haven't seen this?
Well, no wonder I couldn't read it. It's in Swahili.
No. That's why we have to, because I get the transcript in Swahili. That's why we have to make up our own show. What are we talking about here? Tort claims, poverty.
Well,
I
now-
like poverty.
Speaking of, well,
Yes, what else? Hospitals.
People who can't afford to buy food also can't afford to go to the doctor.
They will now.
Unless
with,
they get the Affordable Health Care
Obamacare,
Act.
Yes.
But, downtown on Alameda and Loman is the old hospital, which was open from 1948 until 1970.
You new people remember that, don't
The
you?
big two-story building down there, that's the old hospital. And
That's where city offices used to be, right?
and then they put the county offices in there, city offices in there, yeah. And now it's been sitting vacant for several years since they built a new city hall. And now there's talking, the city council is going to vote on whether they should turn at least part of that into a health clinic.
They should do something with it. We're going to end up with a bunch of empty buildings. There's that building up on, Main and Loman. They've been in the process of building that. It's an exterior structure. It's been like that for, I'm
stalled
guessing,
for a couple of years.
3 years at
Yeah.
least.
It's partially constructed. Something needs to be done about that. Either
also
tear it down or finish it.
Or do something. Put another, skyscraper there. We have the Kmart building. It's gone. We still worry about whether Pro Ranch is going to stay. We talked about
I
that
give them a
last
year.
week.
Well, the old city hall is sitting empty.
Wow.
And
Anyway, we got to do stuff for that. So might as well turn the old whatever that is old hospital.
might as well
into
use
health
it for
club.
something.
None of the equipment's there.
They won't need the whole
Just say
thing.
again.
It's a huge two-story building, but they could use, a portion of it on one end.
That'd be good. So one thing we don't have in this town.
What's that?
A lot of people, there's some states, state capitals that do the Ten Commandments as a statue. Some people do, which is contested. The Satanists want to put a sculpture in, State Capitol building of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, of all places.
Well, the
That's
reason they want to
really-
do that is because there's already a sculpture there of the Ten Commandments,
That's
which
what
was paid
did
for
it.
with taxpayer dollars.
So theoretically,
So they assume
if Satanism is a bona fide religion,
taxpayers would pay for that as well.
that's more of a sculpture.
That's very similar to what the sculpture
See,
would look like, with
I'm-
two children standing on either side of a throne to Satan.
So
Now you notice he's got
What?
goat legs. You see the cloven hooves.
oh yeah, little goat legs.
He's got a goat head with horns,
I love those horns. Those
but
horns
he's
are
got
great.
human arms and legs.
That's how Satan looks.
Is that what he looks like?
Yeah, the pictures they have of Satan. Hopefully, he doesn't look too Jewish because I don't want there to be any implications. I don't think so. But the big beard and stuff like that.
So
Billy goat beard.
well, in Roswell, New Mexico, they have a Ten Commandments statue out in front of City Hall, paid for by the taxpayers there.
So then we need
Should put a Satan sculpture there too, shouldn't we?
sure.
They should also.
What are the 10 commandments of Satan? I guess just the opposite. Thou shalt. Not thou shalt not.
Thou shalt kill. Thou shalt steal.
Thou shalt
commit adultery.
Yes.
Thou shalt covet thy neighbor's wife.
So I guess it would be the same thing. They're not the same as Wiccans.
No. Satan's
Totally different.
Satanists are nothing like pagans or Wiccans at all.
Satanism was a great idea because everybody who believes in Godism, they get all high and mighty. So, like most kids and their parents, if their parents say one thing, they're going to go the other direction. I think Satan's a good way to go.
Well, no, because most people are the religion they are because that's the religion their parents brought them up in.
I'm not.
You're not? Funny, you don't look Scientology like.
No, I just happened to be that. No, when I woke up, I made that decision, as a baby. I grew up and I realized, wow, I'm Jewish. Just as you woke up and realized, I'm non-Christian.
I'm not a Scientologist, but
you're not?
Some of your best friends are.
Oh, you mean all those actors? John Travolta? Okay, we got to move around here. Yeah. Satanism, this weekend.
This weekend we have the outdoor
Expo, which is indoor.
Which is indoors at the convention center. Saturday and Sunday.
One of the things they have before we go is a hook and de-hook of indoor fishing. I would go there just to see how poor little fish get unhooked.
Well, I'm sure there's
fishing, camping, all that stuff.
Outdoor activities, recreation is if you like to go hunting, fish, anything, camping, that's the place to go.
And this Wednesday is
Styx.
Styx
is coming to Las Cruces. The band from the 70s?
No.
They're going to be.
I don't know about them.
They're touring. They're going to be here, and the opening act is going to be a band from Las Cruces.
We don't know who the band is, do we?
We don't know. They haven't been selected yet.
They don't do that.
As of this taping.
They did this Friday. Yesterday. Yesterday they selected it.
We haven't. Well, it wasn't in today's paper.
Oh. Well, we haven't read today's paper because it didn't come out yet.
As of Thursday's paper, they still hadn't selected who it was.
But we'll find out. So that should be good. And
what else?
I wanted to do. Did you ever get a picture of what else do we get?
Stock
we
market.
had another picture. Stock
market's up.
Well, it is up. Those pictures this week it's a little iffy, but it went way up at the end of last year. One of the things they do is pick the dogs of the Dow at this point. There's 30 stocks in the Dow Jones average. You find the 10 that have the highest dividends, and the theory is that the ones that have the highest dividends mean that their price is down because price and dividends vary in different directions. So the 10 that have the highest dividends you should invest in because obviously they're underrated and they may kick up. Two of those are like AT&T and Verizon. Those are the two biggest. People who are worried about where their savings are, which can barely get 1% in the bank, the dogs of the Dow, those two, AT&T and Verizon, are giving 4 to 5% interest or dividends. Dividends. You also have the benefit of possibly making money off any rise in the stock price. But make it in dividends, and we'll see you next week, it sounds like.
I guess we're out of time, aren't we?
I guess so. It just went like that. Frittered away.